Hi, friends. This is our official peace treaty for the dual wars that ensured or occurred this past week. Here to have a pomegranate with all of you. So I hope everybody, hi Kevin, hope everyone has their anar, or pomegranates, ready, because we are going to cut this and then devour it as we talk about different things. So if you come to London, we're in a global pandemic, okay? I'm not going anywhere right now. But thank you for the kind invitation. Is there a thing that you do, like the live? Oh yeah, also if anyone wants to join me, and if you have your pomegranate out with you and we want to cut it together, more than happy to. This is definitely going to be a fun, educational for people who don't know how to cut pomegranate video. I was expecting discussion about politics. We can do that. This is a conversation. It's not anything that's like anything else. It's literally whatever the hell we want it to be. I just have promised that I would do. I promised that I was going to do a pomegranate or anar cutting session. And so as a woman of my word, I'm going to now make that happen. And also, by the way, pomegranate, unbiasedly, of course, because they come from Iran, the best ones at least, are one of the healthiest fruits ever. And in the time of a global pandemic, we really need to be eating our anar, okay? This is your antioxidants. My dad says something is good for your veins. I don't know, but science has it that this is the best fruit in the world. So it's really, someone says I have an orange. Pretty Kitty Publishing. Sorry, an orange and a pomegranate are very different. This is not about to be defensive. I literally will fight anybody. Also, when I mentioned that I was going to do something with pomegranate, a bunch of people, particularly from India and Pakistan and Kashmir, mentioned that mangoes are the best fruit. So I just want to go on the record and say that please do not insult yourself like that. You know, like there's literally no comparison. And we are going to have to fight if that happens. But okay, someone wants to go live. So as we also begin our pomegranate cutting session. So the tools that you are going to need is a knife, a nice sharp one, preferably. The sharper the better. You're going to need a pomegranate. Very important part of this. Also, a spoon is helpful for consuming the pomegranate once it has been fully peeled. A bowl, and then a lot of napkins. Also, you're going to need, someone says, is an apple okay? I'm about to exit out of this live because you're already so offensive. Definitely not. This is not an apple, okay? I'm sorry. Anyway, I'm going to stop reading these comments. These are ridiculous. So, also, make sure whenever you are cutting a pomegranate that you are wearing pomegranate adequate clothing. So if you're wearing a white shirt, my thoughts and prayers are with your white shirt because that is not going to last. Why are Iranians so obsessed with pomegranates? It's like in every food. I'm sorry that we have taste. Okay, sorry we have taste and know it tastes good, and then want to infuse our food with that. So let's get started. Also, if people do want to ask serious questions in the Q&A option. This is a look. I like this look. If people do want to ask serious questions in the Q&A, feel free to drop them in the thing, the little question thing, and we can talk about actual politics too. What I actually really love about pomegranates is that they do take a long time to cut, and I feel like that's something that is really nice and special. And I feel like a lot of people are like, oh my god, it's so time consuming, so I don't want to do it. But I think that's what makes pomegranate so special, is because it is forcing it to be a social fruit. So it's like you really eat it you can, but it forces you to slow down. And for me, it forces you to eat it with other people, because you want to be doing something, you want to be talking to somebody, or you really just want to slow down. So that's why I think healthy and also mental health wise, Wow, Akbar wood is apparently not over this dur fight. We already figured out that it comes from Iran, and I don't think that there is anymore. Iranians also hold their knives so close right now. I don't know. It's such a comfortable. I'm gonna say something that's gonna get incriminating, so we're gonna go to whoever. Okay, Bahare from Iran, who also is amazing, just asked to join the live, so hopefully she can cut a pomegranate with us. سلام خوب هستین؟
سلام خوبی هدا جان؟
مرسی ممنون شما خوبی؟
متشکرم ممنونم.
چه خبر؟
هدا ما یه عالمه انار داریم. We have lots of pomegranates and we have a pomegranate. It's just like a heart.
Oh my gosh از ایرانه؟ از باغچه خودتونه؟
ما رفتیم به یه باغ و خریدیم.
Oh wow.
یه جایی نزدیک کاشان. You know where's کاشان?
Yeah. I have yet to go to
باغ.
Is it can we see what's inside of the small pomegranate or are you saving it?
Yeah, we have it here.
Oh, the tiny one. Is it also like ripe? Do you think you can eat it?
Yeah, yes, it's totally ripe, but we're supposed to keep it.
Oh, because
We want to dry it to keep it as a memory.
oh, that's so cute.
Yeah.
But on the dry when it dries.
I can't hear you.
It's okay. It was not important at all.
Today I also make a gelée of pomegranate. Gelée anar.
Can you send me the recipe?
I will send you.
Let's try. Man,
Yeah, I will send you.
I
You're welcome.
and our gelatin, but we'll go with it. It's nice to just have in your repertoire, you know, just be like, oh, I could make this, and like aspirationally look at it.
It really is. You can make it.
Okay, if you could send some to me, that would be.
Yes, surely I will send it after the live.
دستتون در نکنه.
خواهش میکنم دست شما درد نکنه. It was really nice to meet you. Watch you tonight.
I miss you too. Inshallah, see you soon in a
Inshallah.
better world.
Inshallah. Also, your earrings is just like pomegranate.
Oh, not they're ouds.
Oud instrument.
Yeah, from
Really nice.
Watan. I stole these from my friend. Watan Pelican.
Oh, very nice.
Stolen.
So you're going to some of your friends ask you're going to unbox the pomegranate.
Yes.
So do it.
So let's get this started. Okay. Khudafiz.
Okay. Khudafiz. Nice to meet you. Mehdi also send regards for you.
Oh, merci, man. Salamat bashi.
Salamat bashi. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay. Sorry, there are a lot of comments that I'm totally missing. I always look at SeriousSeats.com and aspire to the recipes. Jello. Oh yeah, okay, sorry. We are gonna cut this. Okay, I'm gonna start inviting people, but there's a question. So while we cut it, I'm overwhelmed. Okay, we'll get to the questions in a second. We'll do one thing at a time, just step by step. See, if I don't have a to-do list, I just like lose it. So now you know how my mind works. I need like a check-by-check list. Sometimes if I'm really overwhelmed, I will allocate literally my minutes of every day to like specific work. So I'm not gonna do that on this live. I'm gonna chill. So we have our pomegranate, and so step one, we have our anar, and we have our beautiful knife, which I think I've made very clear that I have. So we're going to just slice off the top, like barely layer, like just enough that we're just getting this like top part off. So Bismillah. We also, say Bismillah to make sure we don't kill ourselves in the process. And so you just want to go all the way around, and the juice is already coming. So I'm going to bring this napkin. Just go all the way around and not cut your thumb, because this is where you may cut your thumb. And try not to go really deep, because then you'll start getting the seeds. So it should be like that thin, maybe a little bit thicker. I did not do the best job, but so it'll look like this, right? You don't want to really cut any of the seeds because that's all gold that you're wasting. And this is what you'll have next. And then what I usually do is I find the grooves or the ridges of the anor. So this one is a little bit hard to find. But then I'll make like slight, again, not like all the way in, because then you'll damage the precious cargo. Then, yeah, you find the ridges, and then you just, from the top, I'm going to sing the song. All this, going to keep this PG-ish. Then a slight push in. You know, you're getting the nice color on your knife, like that. Not too deep, not deep. And then you just do that all the way around. So you just find the ridges, and then you do that. I need a nice, sharper knife. And kind of estimate. They're like out there. And if you don't really get the ridges, that's fine. Usually I do it in quarters though, because that's just the easiest. So then your end product is, it seems unsafe. It's but all things unsafe in life are the funnest. Okay, we're gonna discard this. I'm gonna put it on my white table, which I'm about to destroy. So then we have this, and then this is when you want to get your bowl, because this is when the mess and the fun starts. And I usually turn it over, and then I just pull it apart on the, and not squirt yourself in the face, but okay, well, sometimes, yeah, you have to have some level of strength. I usually stand up at this point. Okay, this one is actually a little, I didn't cut it strong enough, so I'm just gonna pull it a little, okay, there we go. I should have had like a fake one where I already pulled it apart and then pulled that out and like tricked everybody, but I'm an honest woman. Okay, wow, this one actually is a little bit not good because I think I damaged it. So then it will look something like this, but without the rotten parts. We're gonna turn it so it looks nicer. Okay, there. So now you have your 4 segments, and then you just take off a segment like this, and then it's easy because now you just got your little segment, and then you just start pusting it or taking the seeds off of the thing, and so, and then you eat all of that comes in. See, this is my progress thus far. And then this is when you just chill and you like talk to your friends, or like I do, sit in class, not paying attention, kind of paying attention, and I just sit here and I just dune push all of it. I don't know what the English word is. I'm sorry. There's certain things that I feel like I only ever say and do within an Iranian/Farsi context, and I just don't know the English words for that, and then vice versa. So peeling a pomegranate, I just don't say, because usually people who speak English don't know what a pomegranate is. Anyway, so that's the progress. And if anybody has, and then your fingers look like suspicious, which is great. And so does your knife. So you want to clean this up before the FBI raids your home. Just pro tips. So anyway, do you eat only the seeds? Oh yeah. Also, please never eat it and then spit out the seed, because that is kind of mind-blowing to me, and I've seen so many white people do that, and it really drives me crazy. You eat all of it, okay? I don't care if it sticks between your teeth. It's part of it, okay? Just live a little bit, and eat the damn pomegranate. And you can eat, so usually when I'm like peeling it, some of this white stuff gets, like this white stuff, gets in the bowl, and that also is fine. You don't need to be a child. You can eat it. My dad says it's good for your veins. Science may not have confirmed that yet, but Iranian WhatsApp groups certainly have, and so that's what we're going off of. But I do think, I mean, I'm sure it's healthy. Cool. Okay, I'm sorry. I have also not heard any of the hold it with the seeds down and tap. Yeah, there are a lot of different techniques. This is the one I use. You can scoop it with a spoon. What part do you scoop with a spoon? They're seeds. I feel like if you scoop anything, all the juice will just go. So I feel like logic is a very important part of peeling a pomegranate. Okay, I'm gonna invite the next person on our live session to talk and see if they've peeled their pomegranate, and then I'll go to the Q&A thing. But in the meantime, I'm just gonna keep peeling this while we wait for this person to join who I've invited.
Hello.
Hi.
Assalamu alaikum. How you doing?
How are you?
Yeah, good, alhamdulillah. Just waiting for dinner here.
For dinner?
For dinner, yeah.
What's for
Oh no,
dinner?
you were gonna do your
Oh
terrible
no!
British accent.
It's really
But okay, but that means I can do my Iranian, which I can only do a couple of words and they're bad. So I can say, I have a friend called Arif who's half Iranian. I can say Orif, and I can say Merci.
that's not an accent. You're just saying Farsi words and a name.
Yeah, but I'm saying it's like I'm putting like a twist on it. No,
Yeah,
I
you're
also want to say
okay.
your Oud earrings. It looks like a guy upside down who's like scared of your knife.
Wait, what? The earrings are what?
It's like a guy upside down. It's like a face, and you know, like the colon and O. It's like a,
Oh,
you
like this.
know, yeah, like the screen.
Okay.
It's like, oh no, careful with the knife. But
Hmm.
like, I don't own a knife like that because I'm 31 and I'm not mature enough to have one.
Oh yeah, men. I just never understand.
I bought a Mezzaluna. I wanted a Mezzaluna since I was like 17 and I saw one in the pizza shop. And then I finally bought one when I was 25 and I saw that the handles kind of folded over to make like blade shields. So then I was like, okay, yeah, I'm old enough now. So I have a
I,
small Mezzaluna.
I don't know what a blade shield. Oh, like here, like there's a handle. There's a protection here.
Yeah. So the blade, like the handle, like folds over when you're not using it and
That's a
protects it so that, yeah, it's
men.
like
I don't understand. Y'all need to grow up.
well, I know considering how much like men have used blades in history,
Yeah, well,
quite successfully.
successfully is probably a strong
It
word.
depends. Well, depends on like what you're trying to achieve. Like,
Mm.
but they've sort of managed to muddle through it. I need to probably take a blade to some of this soon.
I don't think so. This is not blade material. They're not savages. Also, I think we're talking. The comments also were not a fan of your fake Iranian accent. I just want to make sure that you recognize that.
No, well, except I thought maybe I was convincing because there was one guy who was calling one of us an Iranian state apologist.
Oh,
So it could have been me.
no, definitely. That's the I'm. I
So it's not because I went method or anything.
no, trust me. I would be surprised if someone did not call me something on this live. So, don't worry. It's definitely not you.
I will say, so despite my like lusty supremacism, I will say that your saffron is probably the best.
Thank you. I made that myself.
I bought it in I bought it in the Spice Bazaar in Istanbul one time, and the guy was like, "This is the best saffron in the world," and I believed him, and it smells really nice. So like, I assume
I
I gave it
use
to my dad to make biryani.
it, but that sounds like a trustable thing. I'm kidding. I'm
It's a
kidding.
place where I get my Turkish delight. It's the same place.
Ooh, that sounds really nice. I have yet to go to Istanbul. That's a lie. I went to Istanbul for like 3 hours as an overlay and layover. See, I haven't traveled for so long. I literally said overlay. Turning.
Hey, I'm doing the upside down version of your earrings.
I think that's yeah, maybe not the most accurate, but I'll let Jumana, the designer behind this, let her know that
No, but
her
they're
likes
good.
or
Like it's not a diss or anything.
mm, I see. Okay, I'll let her know.
Yeah, but like with pomegranate, you were saying like that obviously the color gets on your fingers and stuff. But does the how like how you whenever you have like oranges anywhere like in your bag or whatever it is, everything smells like oranges for a while, which is actually amazing because I like citrusy fragrances. But is it the same with pomegranate where the sort of the smell gets everywhere?
Um, no, pomegranate doesn't really have a very strong smell.
Mm. You can tell I have not met many pomegranates in my life.
You haven't met many? Yeah, I feel like that's probably why your Parsi accent is so bad.
I can also say Durud.
Okay. Um, thank you for all of your contributions to this live.
Merci, merci.
خیلی ممنون. I'm going to let you go, and we're going to go on to the next person in line.
Understandable.
On the I'm glad we're on the same page. I'm totally kidding.
Salam.
So good to see you. Salam. Khodafez.
Khudafez. Merci for your time.
Merci, ممنون. Instagram is so much fun. Okay, we're gonna look at the questions. Okay. Someone asks, I'll just keep these anonymous so people can feel free to ask all of their questions. I don't know who's someone's saying weird stuff in the comment. I don't know. Anyway, okay, to what extent does the rise of misinformation blunt the effectiveness of activism efforts? I mean, everything. That's an interesting question, because I feel like maybe we also define misinformation differently. Because I feel, for example, that like the status quo and the main way in which we are fed like empire information is all misinformation. So I think so much of the world is like even like basic things. So for example, if we want to think about like, oh no, he's seeing the reviews from his comments. I'm sorry, people can be mean on the internet, but you just gotta live your life. I'm sure they didn't mean all of it. I'm sure your accent was impressive to some people who aren't Farsi speakers. What was I saying? Oh yeah. So like things like within the like prison abolition movement, for example, like if we like the basic understanding of justice, I feel like is misinformed in the United States. The way that we've normalized so many things, which I don't think necessarily is misinformation, because it's not like, I mean, sure, the media talks a lot about like uses specific terms and characterizes things in a lot of ways. That's obviously misinformation. But I also feel like the way that just everything is sort of shaped and the status quo that we take for granted within a capitalist world, within like a punitive world, I think in and of itself, the frameworks that we even get the information from, I think are very misaligned. So, and I think that's integral to any form of structural organizing and structural activism, is that we're not just trying to like use the language of oppressors and use the language of violence in order to like push forward, but we're also, that part of that work is imagining what we want the world to look like and actively building toward that. And so, for example, within the prison industrial complex in the United States, at least, which is actively being exported around the world, a lot of the work is not being like, oh, we should allow nonviolent criminals to leave, or, oh, we should lock him up, we should put Trump in jail. You know, all these things that like, I think it's like the liberal speak is like putting, like using the status quo, but just like directing it toward other people, where a lot of I think the structural radical fight is in not just putting people of color in violent positions of power, Kamala Harris, but actually changing the structures of power and dismantling power. So for example, rather than saying, oh yeah, we should like put the cops in jail who have killed so-and-so's family, we should be thinking about justice. What does justice actually look like? Like, how does somebody actually feel whole again? And how much of that needs to happen outside of a court system? So what does justice look like for like someone who has been shot and killed by police? Does it look like putting the police in jail, or does it look like removing the reasons why police are shooting Black and brown people? If we're thinking about someone who's stolen something, for example, do we just think that like, okay, fining them or like lowering the mandatory, you know, all these sorts of like reformist ideas, or do we actually want to remove the reasons why people feel the need to steal in order to be able to eat or be able to feed their kids? And so I think that misinformation is a funny term, because I think the ways in which we've been taught about the world inherently, and the way that we like operate and like take for granted a lot of things, is inherently on their terms rather than like what actually makes sense. Also, sorry, I'm really not able to read a lot of the comments because they're going by kind of fast. So I'm mostly just looking at the Q&A things. And then, oh, you can like press it. Cool. So I'm just gonna, oh, okay, cool. Fun. Okay. So what, social media time limits look like? Um, Good question. I actually loathe social media. I don't like social media at all for a number of reasons. I think that it's very dehumanizing, and I feel like the more and more that like I've seen and have been grateful though for like my audience and my following and my community online to have grown, I feel like it also gets incredibly dehumanizing because I've now, like, very truthfully and transparently speaking to all of you, like I feel like it's even more challenging for me to operate in the world when people know or follow me on social media, because they will only know what they see about me and they think they already know like everything. Whereas like 99% of my life happens offline and out of social media, and all the organizing that I do is like I don't talk about it because I'm not trying to make things about myself. And so I think that gets really challenging because I think people just like make a lot of assumptions really quickly. They think that they know you when they really don't. And it gets into like really tricky power dynamics. Like I've seen a lot of people who I organize with, or if somebody like, or if we're in a new organizing space and there are new people, I feel like a lot of the times people who know that I have like a following on social media, however big or small, they will either be like exceptionally mean because they want to like, because they just don't trust me. And I think that's fair, because I think a lot of people in social media who have large platforms are sort of going toward being able to like take advantage of social movements for their own benefit and are very self-serving. But I do think it makes things really challenging, because I think that you have to work twice as hard to earn people's trust on the ground. Like people who are not on social media, people who like, who just know from afar like what you do. So I think it makes the work like really challenging in many ways. So I feel like, I have to work twice as hard to earn a lot of people's respect who I work with. Not respect, sorry, trust. And also I think people can be mean because they want to, they want to be able to like put you down, because then they can say that like they put you down. And so I think that that's something that's been really challenging, is like a lot of like tensions that happen just by virtue of like people trying really hard not to like support your ideas or like support what you're doing offline, because they don't want to be seen as like a fangirl or something. So I think it's just really complicated. It's hard to like put into words, I think. But it's challenging. And I think also social media is really problematic just because of the ways that it extracts so much of our information. Like, I don't like the fact that like me being on social media and like creating content that then you also come to social media for and see and engage with and spend more time on social media as a result is all like feeding into the pockets of these like major companies that profit from extracting our personal data. And so that's something that I obviously am very much against, and I hope most of us are very much against. And so I've been actually thinking a lot about leaving social media. And I think that's really hard, because I do think that social media can be a very powerful organizing tool, and I think that there is like really, really amazing like power. And I feel like I learned so much from people around the world. Like I get a lot of my news, for example, not from like watching state TV at all or like any sort of like mainstream media, but from the organizers and activists on the ground who I know and trust, like filming what's happening, talking about what's happening. So for me, social media is like how I stay informed and stay connected to a lot of my friends around the world and organizers. But I think there's definitely a balance. So I think that's why I may not put out as much content as a lot of the other people that you follow may put out. But I think it's a lot of like personal reasons, because I'm an organizer, not like an influencer, and thinking about what my role is, and like as someone who's grateful and blessed to have a platform, like how can I use that, but also like what are the limits and like what's the line there. So I didn't actually answer the question. I totally did not. I don't really have time limits. I just do whatever feels right to answer the question. Okay, they're asking the actual question. Okay, so basically a time limit. I don't actually have like a time limit. Usually I go on social media when I'm procrastinating work, like I'm sure much of us in this room, right, this virtual room right now. So a lot of it is just like procrastination. But I think for me, I like on my to-do list, I literally have like social media because I have like a lot of things that I need to also talk about, especially like because we've read, other projects that we're announcing, other things that we're doing, resources to share. So I know there's a lot that I need to put out there, but it truly is so draining. Yeah, and it's just a lot. Like, what also, now I'm just ranting and I'm going back to not answering this question. But I think something else that is really frustrating about social media is that when people follow you, I feel like they feel like a lot of the times they can demand your time. And I think like that's just like, it's really strange. Like, I feel like a lot of the people, I've seen it more with other people, thankfully. I feel like we all have like a very like different relationship. But I feel like there's a lot of like demands on your time, and when you don't respond to something, people just get angry. Like, I don't think people realize like the number of messages that like one person gets in a day. This literally, like, if I was just responding to messages all day, I would just be responding to messages all day. And so I think that there's like a really weird like dynamic where like if you don't respond, then people get angry and upset and take it personally. And so it's just weird. Like, the social media is weird, man. Okay, I don't have time limits. Next question. Okay, we're gonna go back to a video. Okay, let me just see if people are okay. Please change your DP. What's a DP? Direct profile? I don't know what that is. Okay, cool. So yeah, if anybody, okay, there's 22 questions in this ask. I'm going to see if anybody wants to, oh, someone's going to join our live, and then we're going to go back to questions. Bismillah. Okay, I peeled 1/4, so while we wait for this person to join us. Oh, hi.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam.
Huda.
How are you?
Alhamdulillah, I'm fine. How are you?
Alhamdulillah. Where are you to?
I'm from Kashmir, Srinagar.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, very small world, right?
Sure. Usually that happens if like we knew each other and then like we run into each other in Kashmir. But sure, yeah. Very small.
Tabib, you're welcome, always.
Thank you. I would love to. Inshallah, in a free Kashmir one day, come visit.
Ameen, inshallah, inshallah.
What's happening? Did you cut your pomegranate?
It's just here.
Cut it?
I just got it here.
Are you gonna cut? Is that a pomegranate? Why is that yellow? Oh, I see.
Okay.
Okay. Go ahead.
It's a different type. The one you cut, that's a different type. Oh, it's still the pomegranate, but the type's different. So I'm gonna try to cut it the way you cut it.
Well, how do you?
Okay. No, that's fine. Okay, let me just.
Oh my God! Can I see your knife? What? Is huge. Oh, you're holding it very scarily. See, like, okay. About this.
I think the tip makes it look a bit crazy. Huh? It looks like going for a war, but yeah, it's an onion knife basically. I cut onion with it.
What war? You're fighting with a knife? Good luck.
Yeah, no, it's just for cutting the onions.
Okay.
Yeah, I kind of do it like this. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, I think you're not seeing. Okay.
Okay. Oh yeah, that's another version.
You see. Then I just do this. I cut it a bit small. It should have been wider, so that way you can see the
seeds.
The yellowish lines, so that you can actually cut it in those cubical forms, which you are trying to guess whether cut it from here.
People are commenting on the photo behind you.
Oh, is it about the Imam Khamnai or Ayatollah Sistani? That will be crazy.
Oh God. Well, I have a photo behind me too. It's militant women from Cuba.
Yeah,
I don't know if we're the
I
same.
know. No, that's fine.
Okay. I wish I could say the same. But very interesting cutting method you have there. I want to see what the seeds look like.
Yep. Just give me a sec. I don't want to cut myself showing you.
That's
That
fair.
will be funny. Yeah.
No.
And you see, I just take the one side. Okay.
Did you get your? I like. Oh, it's so light. Can you send me some of that?
Yeah. Why not? Why not? Yeah. Sure.
How
You
do you
see, if
thank you?
what?
How do you say thank you?
Shukriya.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think I have one friend who studies in Iran. He kind of sends me these. Let me.
I'm nervous.
No, no. He kind of sends me the words which are similar between the Iranian and Kashmiri.
Oh, there's a lot of
Okay.
Farsi.
Okay, let's just say I'm gonna say like the word is umbrella, right?
Okay, the word is
But
what?
you know what it's called? Umbrella.
Is that English?
It's English word. No, I'm saying the
Okay.
umbrella. You
Mhm.
use it in the rain, right?
Oh,
When you
umbrella.
go out.
I'm so
Umbrella, right? Yeah.
sorry.
So okay, you know what's it called in Farsi, right?
No, wait. If you tell me, I'll
You
remember.
don't know.
No,
Because
wait.
it's same in Kashmiri as well.
What is it?
Chatar.
Oh, yeah, church. It's like
That's what I say.
you know it, but then when
Yeah,
you're like,
exactly.
I don't know the word for umbrella. Okay.
Yes. I didn't know. Okay. Same like for example, tea is there, right?
What?
Tea.
Oh,
We have tea.
chai. Well, that's the same in like a lot of languages.
Yeah, chai. Yes. Is there something else? I don't know. There are a lot of words.
Is it? Oh, probably
Like torch. What?
kitab, like book.
Yeah, kitab is kitab. Yeah.
Asaman.
Asman is asman. Zameen.
I mean, from the window, from the panjat. Do you have panjare?
Like panjare. We call it like panjare will be five
Oh,
or a hand.
panjare
Panj.
window. So I was gonna say from the panjare to the zamin, but I just
The window we call there.
we call what?
That is there. With the
The
there.
Also, someone says hun is the same. Everyone says
Khoon, blood.
yeah.
Everybody wants khoon. Crazy people.
Crazy world.
Yes.
Surat.
I don't know.
Oh, well, yeah, everyone is. Apparently, there are a lot of people who speak both of our languages in this chat right now because they are giving a lot of suggestions.
Yeah, Alhamdulillah, we're safe.
See, we're all. What are borders, friends?
Yes.
Great. Well, it was so nice to meet you, friend.
Okay.
What was your name?
Wasim.
Wasim?
Yeah.
It was so nice to meet you. خیلی خوشحال شدم.
Okay. that I totally didn't get.
Nice Oh yeah, and Azadi. Oh, of course. Gotta know Azadi.
Inshallah. Yeah, Azadi.
All right, well, take care. Azadi, inshallah.
Okay. Inshallah. Khuda Hafiz.
Khuda Hafiz.
That's also safe.
Oh, I cut him off. Sorry, friend. Would love to go to Kashmir at some point. Okay, should we do a question? Okay, there are a lot of questions. So we'll do a question and then we will go back to the live because I feel like the live is more fun. Okay, so we have the question, how do you balance school and all of your other projects / responsibilities? What does your daily, weekly schedule look like? This is a great question. First of all, I want to preface by saying that what is potentially one person's schedule may not be healthy for everybody else. And so I do think that there, in our capitalist world, I feel like we already have an overemphasis on like senses of productivity. So I always feel a little bit anxious, like talking about my day or sharing it publicly, because I don't want it to feed into other people's anxiety, or like senses of like feeling like they're not doing enough. But every day is really different. So right now with law school, which is great because it's digital, which means because of COVID. So basically, I work full time at the Blue Tin Studio, our worker production cooperative, and just a lot of like helping get everything off the ground still and push forward and vision. And we're buying a building. Oh yeah, we're buying a building in Chicago. So yeah, a lot of that. I do get overwhelmed very quickly. Like I've been very overwhelmed this past week, which is hence also why all of the do awards started, because I was stressed and I was drinking dur. And then that's when the conflict erupted. So this week, I'm going to be honest, was very stressful for me just because we're getting close to finals in law school, and also a lot of production related issues are happening for a large client of ours, and also we're buying a building, and then like general organizing. So typically I'm at the Blue Tin Studio Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and then I take all my law school classes virtually from there. And then one of my classes that is 2 hours long twice a week, that's very long, the professor talks very, very slowly. So I usually skip those, and then I watch those at 2 times the speed later, which is great if anybody is in classes right now and has a professor who talks very slow, because you can just not go to class and then watch the recording as fast or faster. And then on every other Thursday, I work at the law school at the Workers' Rights Clinic. And so we take calls from like workers in California, usually like low-wage workers or workers who are underemployed or unemployed and undocumented, and then give them legal advice with our attorney. So yeah, and then Tuesdays and Thursdays is when I'm at home and then work on all of the other projects and then also catch up for law school. So usually what I try to do is that on Saturday I wake up at 5:30 every morning, because I'm a morning person, and I usually wake up 5:30, and then I try my best when I have time, which has not been recently, but I have a 1 hour long like morning ritual that I love doing, because it helps me get out of bed. Because if you're gonna wake up to something that you really enjoy doing, like reading or writing or just like not checking your phone and just making time for yourself, it helps you get out of bed, because you're also like looking forward to what you're about to do at 5 o'clock in the morning. So usually on a good day, I'll have like an hour long, just like time for myself, whether it's like just praying or listening to du'as or reading something, and then writing or just literally just thinking. Usually I do that for an hour in the morning, and then I'll write my to-do list. And on Saturdays, I try to get all of my work done for law school before noon or by the early afternoon for the whole week. So all of the readings, any assignments, etc. for the week, Saturday by the afternoon. And then Saturday by the evening, I'll either see friends and like check out, because my brain is numb at that point. And then just try to like not do work, although that also doesn't usually happen. And then Sunday, I still keep doing work for either Because We've Read. So for example, is today Sunday? What day is it today? Today's Saturday, thank God. Sunday, I mean, usually if we have like a Because We've Read meeting with our steering committee, which is some of our chapters, working on all of the different projects, emails, to-do lists, like all of that happens also on Sunday. And then on Monday, again, I'm back at the studio, and then I do Blue Tin during the day, except my classes, and then I come home, and then I keep working on everything else. So I work a lot, and I recognize that. I usually work from 5:30 or 6 o'clock in the morning until about 10 o'clock at night. Maybe I'll take an hour break in between, but that's like Sunday through Sunday, usually. But yeah, but it works for me. And so yeah, I don't want people to feel like they're like not working enough, because I am working. I make sure to include like things like seeing friends or like social activities or chilling. So I've been really good at listening to my body. So if I'm really exhausted, I'm not going to push myself. I'll just like take the evening off. So I will try my best, but a lot of it is just doing a lot of work. And the truth is that my income before, so last year I worked also at Blueton full time, but I didn't take a paycheck because we were just starting, and I wanted to make sure all the members got paid first. So my only income was from speaking engagements. And this year, because of COVID, I've had like very fewer speaking engagements, and because universities don't have funds anymore as much, or students don't have access to it, this is the first year that I started getting like salaried from Blueton, just like as much as all the other members. And yeah, so that's allows me though enough funds to get by to like pay rent and buy dual and pomegranates and live comfortably. I mean, I'm fine. And then also all the other work that I do is like unpaid. So like organizing work or planning or because we've read, all that sorts of stuff. So yeah, it's a lot of work, but I feel like it works for me. Because also something that I've learned is that I will get really bored if I'm just doing one thing. And also if I was just a law student, I genuinely feel like I would have less time than if law school was like very secondary in my life, because there's like this rule of time that says that the work will fill the time that you allocate for it. And I feel like that's so accurate, because if I literally only give all of my law school for the week, like a span of 5 to 6 hours on a Saturday, then it will get done in that time. But if I give myself the entire week to do it, then it will take the entire week to do the same amount of work. So I think just being able to really focus when I'm doing work allows me to get work done quickly, and then it allows me to procrastinate less, because I think when I had less to do, I would just procrastinate and then like feel guilty, and it was just like a really bad situation. But if I am very productive and like very focused during the time that I work, then it allows me to get through that work and then also like chill or not, depending on if I need it. Cool. Next question. This is an easy one. What is the print on the wall? Looks interesting. Thank you. This one, I actually got a lot of questions. Is a, actually, let me bring it closer. I can actually move this. It's not Zoom. This is my apartment. So this is a poster from Cuba that I got from a cute little like random poster store. And it is basically militant women. And then this one is from Palestine. It's actually from the Palestine Museum in Ramallah, and also very cute. So those are, and this wall is like a work in progress. I had a bunch of things and then I took it down. So this is the few things that I have left on this wall. This one is a gift from my aunt in Iran. And then this is from Palestine also. And this is from Indonesia when I went on a delegation to meet with garment workers. And then there was a bunch of stuff here that I took down because I'm trying to change things up. You feel? Oh, and then I don't know if they're all stuck with this, which is, these are both from Morocco. I actually don't remember exactly where in Morocco, so I apologize. But yeah, cool. Oh, will we be able to watch this later? Yeah, I'll figure out how to save it. I hope. Fingers crossed. Hi, Mehdi. Okay, there are a lot of. Where do you find your inspiration from to keep going with such a rigid schedule? That's a good question. So, did it get dark or is it just? Sorry, I was raising the lighting on my phone. I think the inspiration really, like, I'm very self-motivated. And I think that is absolutely necessary if you're working for yourself or running your own stuff and are not working for anybody else. Even if you're working for anybody, like, I think self-motivation is really, really important. And for me, I feel like I get a lot of that from being grounded in what I'm doing and why I'm doing that. Like, I feel like if you can't answer the why, that's going to be really, really challenging in order to get yourself out of bed in the morning. So for me, for example, like I mean, this is, I think, a very, like, I feel like this makes a lot of people scared, but like, thinking about mortality, the one where you die. But I actually find a lot of comfort in the fact that I'm going to die. That for me is like very grounding, because I think the way that I understand my life is that it's very short. Like all of us are going to live and die, and there's none of us are going to live forever. And there's a line in the Quran that roughly translated says that like on the day of judgment, or like, you know, when you're looking back on your life on your last day, your whole life is going to feel like an afternoon. And that line always gets me so much because I feel like it's so accurate. You know, like I'm 25. Yeah, I'm 25 right now. And like looking back, I'm just like, wow, like things just go by so incredibly fast. And like if we, especially as someone who's like very religious and deeply spiritual, I recognize that like my existence and all of our existences is not going to end when we die. Like if anything, our life, our physical, like tangible bodies and our time on earth is the shortest time of our eternal existence. And like if anything, we're actually in exile in this world because this is like such a temporary, momentary like moment of our entire existence that is eternal. And so for me, like I think a lot of people are always like, I just want to be happy, or I just want to have money, or I just want to do like this. And for me, I feel like I'm not even trying, like my goal is not to be happy. It's just to do what I need to do and like get through this world. And I am happy. I'm not saying that I'm not happy, but I think that for me at least is like a shift in why I do the things that I do and how I'm able to push myself is like, I could make money. You know how many times Nike has approached me with pockets of money? And like, I think it's really easy, especially as like hijab wearing person who's in demand right now, and like fashion, it's so easy to make money. But for me, like it's easy to say no when that's just not what I'm trying to do. Like what's the point of all of this if we're all going to leave it behind? Like I would rather build towards something that I can take with me to the next life, rather than that's going to leave when I go on to the next life. So I think for me, it really is just like, what is your goal and what are you working towards? And for me, it's not being happy. Again, even though I am content, but it's more like I am building for something that's bigger than myself. And I'm for like community liberation and like justice and freedom. And I don't have to be happy every single day, but I need to get the work done that needs to get us closer there. So I think that's kind of like my mindset. I don't know if that helps, but it's definitely a discipline. And I think there's a lot of like sitting and reflecting and thinking, which is like what I said I usually do in the mornings at 5 a.m. Cool. Okay, we're gonna do another of these go lives with, because there's somebody, and then we'll go back to the questions.
Hey,
How are you?
I'm good. Salams, you inspired me to eat some pomegranate. So I just peeled it. What'd you say?
I said, oh, like, may it, how do you translate that? May it, like, nourish your soul? Like, it's kind of like, what did the French say? Bon appetit, but like, and better, because the French are racist.
Right. But I missed the way that you peel it. So.
Well, it looks like you because you have a lot of anor.
Yeah, I know, and they're really red, darker the berry.
Where did you buy yours from?
From like the local grocery store. Pete's. How about you?
I love Pete's.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Pete's is cool. The one over here has like this huge halal, meat, like butcher. You said what?
It's too far from my house.
Yeah. Well, you're by like a bunch of halal joints up there.
Yeah, but we're not gonna say where I live on.
No, we're not. Anyways, I really love what you were saying about the time. I feel you 100%. I noticed that like at points in my life when I've had like responsibilities increase, I've gotten more done. And there was like more, and I think that that's like a reflection of like the blessing and barakah as well. So but this week I was feeling overwhelmed, and so what you were saying was like on time and on point, and I just really appreciated that.
Oh, thank you, Aziz. Appreciate you.
I love your live. You're like getting lit. You're having a blast.
I mean, I'm just over here getting high on anar and dur. No, I should pull it.
And people video requests.
Oh yeah, it's been fun. People are great. Social media is great.
Right, I know.
You know the pears that you grew
Right.
in your
You had
backyard
some? Uh-huh.
at Naha's house?
Mm-hmm. Uh-huh.
Still one of those. They are so amazing. Oh my God. What do you add to that soil? Like what drugs did you?
Buttercup, speaking of, my dad, he's like 80 years old and he gardens as if he was like 6 people.
Okay.
He has like those pears, we had literally like 7 5-gallon buckets of those like every year. And like it's intense.
It's just like my dad.
Yeah. Green
So,
thumbs.
yeah, green thumb. And I am literally on the opposite. This is one of the few plants I've been able to keep alive. And it's wilting. I don't know why you're so sad. Be happy.
Right, I know.
I give it everything it needs. Plants are like more needy than men are. You think that they couldn't, there's nothing more needy than a man is, but then you get a plant and you're like, ah.
I know. They're so hard to sustain and maintain. I need like my own proper plant. I used to get like those little orchids, but those are so hard to take care of.
Aren't those like the hardest things to take care of? Wow.
You know what? I also wanted to say, like what you were saying about death, I agree with you. And I feel like part of that paradigm shift is like liberatory practice for me. Both of my so I took care of my mother, but my grandmother a lot more intensely, like in my 20s, and both of their deaths were like linked to 2 of my deliveries and my pregnancies and births. So I have this IG live series called From the Womb to the Tomb, and I talk about that. But I do believe that it's a paradigm shift, the same way that giving birth, because I talk about home birthing as like radical resistance, but the same way that I feel that we're conditioned around the birthing process and how it like needs this medical intervention. I feel like if we can liberate from that, like that's part of liberation, and the same thing with death. And it's crazy, like there's this analogy around how death is death and life are transitions from like constrictive worlds to expansive worlds. Are you familiar with just the idea of like coming from the uterus through the canal of life into and then being like comforted by the mother, and then the same thing when a person transitions through death. It's scary, like the people around them are scared, the person is scared, but once they make that transition and they are buried into like Mother Earth, it's that same like comforting embrace because their soul still lives on. And like what you were just mentioning about how this is like exile because it's a temporary existence, but we still strive to we plant the seeds for what's coming, and we still like try to be happy like you were saying. But it was just crazy because it was on point. And I'm telling you, like I've had just when those things line up, like it's not coincidence.
No, I don't
It's
believe it.
purpose.
Yeah.
It's like purpose.
The timing. Yeah. And I think something else about death also that I think is so hard to talk about in like the United States or like a Western world especially is that like I feel like it's also very capitalist. And I think just so much comes back to this because like we are so afraid of like death because we're no longer able to produce, like we're no longer valuable, therefore, if we can't like produce things. And we're literally removed from all of the material things that we are told we have to accumulate and like buy and like hoard. And so it's seen as like the end when in fact death is just like literally a transition point, as you said. So it's just like, it's literally like a part of like, just like the natural like next step, rather than like an end of like a life or the end of like something. But it's
Right.
just a moment where you're transitioning to a different being.
Right. And like speaking of the whole capitalist aspect of it, the birthing process is so obviously like such a capitalist process with just the medical intervention. Like there's no medical intervention needed for a woman to menstruate or for 2 people to conceive or for the baby to grow, but all of a sudden when it's time for the birthing process, it becomes an $80,000, experience. And the same thing now with death.
I mean, not beautiful, but that's a huge important point.
The same thing though with death is that it's becoming so hard for people to, I mean, it's becoming so expensive for people to bury because there's like just the coffin, all that stuff, it costs money, and even just the burial itself. And so like, you know, what is it called? The cremation when you
Mm.
burn the body, right? It's becoming like the kind of C-section, if you will, of burials for the people who are most vulnerable, which is like the lower socioeconomic class. Like some of the aunties, you know, that I know were trying to raise money for funerals, and they were like, I really don't want to have to cremate, but that's what everyone like
Mm.
has to resort to doing. So you know what I mean? Like it's just crazy how. But again, I just think about like the more primordial way of burying, the more primordial way of delivering. You know what I mean? That's like what my whole series was about. Like it's radical resistance to like be liberated from the medical system to birth on our own, or
Mm.
even, you know, like just the transition point is also
Well, I'm
of like, you know,
definitely
what do you
gonna watch.
say?
But I don't know how I missed your series, but I'm definitely gonna watch it now. That sounds really, really beautiful. Um, yeah, it reminds me actually of a friend of mine that's doing research in Iran right now, talking about how there's like this commodification of burial. Um,
Hmm.
way also in which, unfortunately, it can be extra commodified when there's like religious connotation associated with where you're buried, and that's actually something that's like so deeply problematic that's happening in Iran right now, is that there's a whole like commodification and like huge cost of burial plots that are next to shrines or next to holy
Mm.
sites, where they're also just like building mega malls. So it's like the capitalization of like Shiism and like Islam, which is so deeply devastating and
Mm.
problematic. That is like, yeah, which I feel like personally, I feel like they're following Saudi a lot in that route of like, how can we like make all this money off of like a religious site? Um,
Right.
the Saudi also is collaborating with Israel to like make Al-Quds like the yeah,
Right.
the next like spot after Hajj. So then they can also, that's why they keep trying to buy up all the Palestinian homes around like Al-Aqsa, so they can like commodify everything. Yeah, it's just, it's a mess. Yeah, so I think it's really especially devastating when like what like such like a sacred and like beautiful and intense process of like burial and like transition to the next world gets commodified, especially by like within religious contexts.
Right, right, right. Man. Well, anyways, keep up the work, Huda. We appreciate it and keeps us inspired. Thank you. Peace.
Bye, salam.
Walaikum salam.
Okay. Seema says, I wholeheartedly disagree with a few of these points. That's great. I mean, a lot of the things that I say, I know I have a lot of people disagree with. What is your astrolog astrological chart? I'm Aquarius, but I don't really know what that means. I'm sorry. But I was born in January 27th. Okay. Well, a lot of questions about do. um, Thank you. I appreciate that. This is a kind comment. So for skincare, I am grateful that I generally have pretty good skin. But I think part of that is because I just don't use makeup. Like I can maybe count the number of times I've used makeup, and that's for a shoot. Because I actually don't know how to apply it. Mine is eyeliner, which I do very badly, and I do that whenever I'm giving a talk on a stage. So, yeah, I think that I'm going to assume that that is also has helped my skin, is that I'm not actually wearing a lot of makeup all the time, and so my skin has the ability to breathe. But on top of that, I use a lot of like Korean skincare, which is like, and like a lot of natural products like that. So actually, I use I was gonna also remind people that you can add a little bit of rose water on your pomegranate, which makes it taste, but like a little bit if you're feeling extra bougie. But I actually use rose water. I mix it with water and I use that as toner. So I will like after cleansing my face, I like use that as toner. And then I have Neogen, Neogen, which is a brand that I love and have been using for like 3-4 years now. They have like a duo cream, which is for day and night. So it's like a vitamin C cream that I'll put on, and then SPF every single day. Always wear your SPF, friends. And that's usually it. It's usually just like a day cream because moisturizing, especially in Chicago. It's so dry and so cold. So I usually just do that, and then an SPF that is moisturizing. So right now I think I have the day cream on, but that's it. Just be healthy. I mean, I don't know. Sorry. Neogen though is one of my favorite brands for skincare, and they're like not tested on animals and or like natural ingredients and things. So I definitely recommend them. Okay, there are guys here too. Okay, sorry. Guys also should use skincare. I don't know what that has in reference to. Favorite MMA fighter? I don't know. Okay. Wow, these are a lot of really good questions. I would love to go to Kashmir one day. How to overcome overthinking. Ooh, that's hard. Let's find an easy one. There are a lot of questions. Okay, I'm just gonna pick a random one. Uh-oh. What can you cook? Whew! Pomegranate. A. Cereal. No, I'm kidding. I am a competent human being, unlike most men. I love actually cooking. Cooking is like it helps me de-stress. So especially Iranian food that takes like 2 or 3 hours. I actually love making Iranian food because it forces me to take a break from doing like work and doing something that keeps me healthy and tastes amazing. So I'm actually going to make asharishte today, which is one of my absolute favorite Persian foods and takes so long to make, but it's definitely worth it. And we don't have any of the dry herbs, so I can't even cheat. I literally have to buy all the fresh herbs and then cut them up for like 10 hours, but it's worth it because it's my favorite food. So yeah, a lot of different things. I can follow a recipe. I don't know. It's not that complicated. And I do love making Persian food. Cool. Okay, this, I don't know how to go back. How do I, okay. Okay. No one wants to go live with me? That's fine. I'll have to go back to answering questions and talking to myself. Okay, random question. What do you do in your free time? I don't know why I was reading like that. What do you do in your free time for feeling good? Free time. As mentioned a little bit earlier, I have a very intense work schedule. So for me, that makes me feel good. So like being able to work at Blue 10 and like do whatever we need to do, even if it's just like really intense conflict resolution or like figuring out like a really complicated problem. It is work, but it also feels good to me. So I think that there's, yeah, I don't think I could ever work a 9 to 5 job where I don't like what I do, where I have to find things that I like to do in time when I come home. I think that's really challenging. I can't compartmentalize like that, and other people can. But all of the work that I do, most of it, I really, really enjoy. So I don't necessarily need to find like pleasurable other activities, but I do play like violin, read, see friends, go for walks, ride bikes, casual stuff, like normal humans. People want to come on live. Yay. Okay. So we're waiting for Andre_SRB, who declined. Wow, you just by yourself you declined. Okay. The next one is GSSANI_. Wow. Andre says that was a mistake. I'm sorry, I was a mistake to you. Hi.
Hi, doing good?
Good. How are you?
I'm all good. Actually, I was sending requested, but my VPN wasn't working. Now it's open.
Yeah. What country are you in?
Oman. You know Oman?
Yes. Country of Oman.
Yes. It's
I
next
heard
to
it's
Dubai for people who don't know.
yeah, people don't know. It's called Oman.
A lot, yeah, a lot of people don't know Oman. So anyway, love your stuff. I just want to say, like, when you talked about like you working from the morning to the evening, I felt like I've been in period of my life like I don't get things done in my day where I play a lot of video games and I feel like it's a pleasure then you regret this kind of stuff and Then there's a hobby came to my life where changed everything, which is table tennis. It's a sport. So I felt like I had a goal in my country to become the best in the sport, and I felt like a lot of obstacles, like I have to face levels to face. And anyway, I had a coach and everything, and I practiced, and I reached like top level in my country in the national team, and I went outside and I played for the country and everything. So I felt,
Nice motivation story.
yeah, it's not that much, but just I want to tell like I felt different from people because people like they don't have things to do, they don't have like goals, like they have things they want to achieve, but they don't work in a daily basis. And I felt like I have something excites me every day, and I see like for my friends they don't get excited for the things they do. So I want to ask you like, how do you feel yourself every day? How to become excited, or for you? I mean,
That's an interesting question. I feel like
yeah.
you've answered that by giving your own answer.
But I need your help also.
For what? You seem like you're very excited about what you do.
Yeah.
Okay, but I think I think it's a little bit complicated though, and I know that I know it's just my tendency to complicate everything, but I do think it's there's level of complication because I do think that there is a level of privilege in being able to do what makes you excited all the time.
Yeah.
I think that a lot of people don't have the ability to like take a risk of quitting like a day job or
Yeah. Yeah.
take a risk of becoming
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
ping pong champion.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so I do think that there's like a lot of privilege in that as well. And I think that
Yeah.
a huge, like, there's a lot of like class, there's a lot of issues that I think make people really frustrated.
Yeah.
And like forced to stay where they are. But also like there's a lot of like, I think people don't always feel like they can do what they can.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that there's
Yeah.
a lot in our imagination, both as like individuals.
Yeah.
Like I think a lot of us are just like, oh, I could never do that. I could never do that. But also I think we see that a lot in movements, right? So like even like a simple demand of like defunding the police is just like seen as so radical. Whereas if we're never able to the world that we want in 100 years, then like what are we, you know?
Yeah.
So for it's helpful because I think I'm like internally motivated, but I guess I'm less individually motivated. Like I'm less trying for myself to be good at something, but I think I'm more about like what I'm working toward to be good at something. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it's helpful to find something that like brings you joy, but also I think that there's ways that can happen. Like for you, for example, like it was about like what you wanted for yourself, and I think that there's nothing that, but I think other people also like I don't think that would be motivating to me personally because like
Of course.
I'm not good at ping pong.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Understand.
To like to be able to keep something up when there will always be something that's I don't know. It's just I guess
excites you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So
I think like it's kind of luck. It's kind of luck. I feel like I played a lot of sports, and this is the only sport that gets me excited. And maybe because I saw levels, like there's a better player that who can do so much that inspires me a lot. So
I'm good.
it's kind, yeah. It's
I feel that.
It's kind of like it's someone inspires you, also makes you want to improve yourself. You know, that's kind of way. But the funny thing that the interesting thing that happened with me is like after like I had the goal to become the best in my country, like once I reached like the top level, I felt like I can do the same. It's the principles that worked with me in table tennis. I can do it in the other areas in my life. It doesn't like have to be in sports. So like I felt like I kind of I can apply these principles and I was like looking, how did I reach there? So I needed a coach. I needed like to be a discipline. I need to have dedication. I have to spend so much time to understand how like table tennis works and everything. And it took so much time for me to become like 8 years, 9 years. So I said, okay, what's the other thing like I feel if I'm going to be very successful at, like it's gonna change my life. And I was at the college and I hated college. Uh, yeah, so because
What did you?
I studied engineering,
Oh,
which
I could.
yeah, so and by the way, I can't hear you well because I think my net is slow. So I'll try to
I'm not.
keep it on. Okay. So I studied mechanical engineering, but I didn't get excited so much to continue. So I left like I think with diploma anyway. So I said I will work for 1 year or 2 years in a job. But during that time, I realized like I can do whatever I can do if I just apply the same principle I applied in table tennis, the same thing. So then I quit my yeah. Then I started working myself. So it was very scary when I quit my job. Like it's like you are different from anybody else. Everyone is working. Everyone is waking up in the morning, and you feel like so much different. But anyway, so I started my business, my first business, which it wasn't successful. Then I started my second. Then I started my third. It took me 1 year,
Yeah.
and then 1 year and a half, then 2 years, nothing. Then I found a good partner for me who's excited and and he's loyal and he's like have integrity. I hope this word is it's an interesting word I
No,
learned.
it's a good word. Integrity.
So I would say like in my third year, it's very rewarding after trying, applying the same principles I learned in table tennis. Now I would say like the last 8 months of this year, every day I'm excited. Like
Aw.
I wake up, I just work on my business, and in the evening time I just go play table tennis, and I feel like when I go to work, I'm just excited to go to table tennis, and when I play table tennis, I get excited to go to work. But it's like this. I feel like I
Sorry.
can live like this, and I can live like this like for the next 5 years. I feel, but it's very I would say it's very hard because every day you have to be productive. Especially in business, it's not like something it's repeatable. Every day you have to be creative. Every day you have to do a critical tasks, like not just an easy task, just a phone call or just go check to the bank. Or no, you have to like be choosing people. You have to call your employees. You have to. So then I realize if you do every day, for me that's what worked for me. Like if I do every day 1 to 2 critical tasks in my career, in my business, and let's say one task, for example, if in workout. So total, I do every day 5 tasks. That's all. Five
Sorry,
critical tasks. That's all I do.
that's exciting. I think we have very, very different perspectives on a lot of things. I think I disagree with a lot of things you said. But I'm glad that works for you and that you.
Yeah, that works for me. I do just 5 things every day. That's it. Then I play. I play. Then I play. I just go hang out with my friends. But they have to be like 5 critical stuff. Like
All right,
yeah. I cannot do easy tasks. I have to be 5. Sometimes I finish early morning, by the way. Sometimes I finish like by 10 a.m. I finish my 5 tasks, then I'm done.
then you're
Then I
chilling.
can do whatever. Yeah. Then I just go out and.
Did you finish your 5 those tasks?
Yeah, I do all every day. Actually, you wake up excited. You wake up like you want to do them. And I hate holidays because I feel like I don't do anything. Like I'm just
Yeah.
sitting by 10 a.m. and I'm supposed to rest. I'm supposed to relax.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't feel like it. I feel like if I wake up early and I finish my stuff and then I started just I don't have any holidays. I work all the time. I just work all the time. I just enjoy every day.
That is
And
very
I feel I'm lucky. I feel lucky because last year I wasn't like this. Last year I was like so overwhelmed. I don't know what to do. I don't have anything to do in my business. I don't have no vision. You
Yeah.
feel me, I think. You understand, right?
Yeah, sure.
Well, I hope my words are delivering it
So much.
because it's very hard to speak. First time I think I do FaceTime.
You're doing great.
Thank you. Thank you.
For your time, all of this advice bestowed upon all of the
Thanks,
tutoring.
thanks.
Good luck with your tennis. Table
Thanks,
tennis.
thanks. And also just
That's
to let you know, I'm not cheering for everything, not doing anything, but actually I have a skincare brand.
You have a what? You have a what?
I have a skincare brand.
So this is promotion.
I'm not gonna say the name. I'm not gonna say them. Really, I'm not promoting. I'm not going for promoting. I was just laughing that you said just about skincare and I said I was just gonna go like this is interesting. But I have like one of my brands are skincare.
Manufacturing standards?
What?
Do you have ethical manufacturing standards in your skincare
Yeah,
brand?
yeah. It's from Morocco and it has I'll tell you just small details. I'm not gonna say the name for not it's not like I'm not gonna give any details. I'm not gonna even send my page or anything. But it's like it's really regulated and also it's how can I say? I don't know how to say it. It's under it's kind of community or committee that who registered or signed to send an authentic material, authentic ingredients. You know, I'm not kidding. I'm not actually. I cannot sell something. I cannot sell something. By the way, it's all natural. It's all natural. I don't sell chemicals. I can't sell chemicals because I don't trust chemicals. It's all naturals. I can't sell chemicals right now. I just sell all natural stuff. That's it.
Yeah, but all
Like
natural things can be made.
like oils. Yeah, of course. It's complicated. It's complicated. It's really complicated. I don't want to get in details. It's complicated, but it's really hard. Actually, it's really hard to sell 100% organic stuff. 100%. It's super hard. It's extremely hard. Like in the world, few companies that they can do that, but you want to make sure that customers are happy. They have results. Like the customer is tried your product for years, not for 1 month or 2 weeks. They tried for years, and they really have results. Yeah.
And this, but thank you. I appreciate.
Yeah, sure. I hope you enjoyed that.
There's a lot of robust conversation. Hope that you investigate your.
Yeah, I will investigate. Inshallah. Thank you. Thank you. Take care.
On all of your and future endeavors. Okay. So we have a lot of more people on live, but we're gonna keep going through because we give everybody their time, right? Boom, boom. We're waiting for Daria_Mary X. Hi. You're frozen.
I'm using Iran's Wi-Fi, by the way.
Oh no, this is gonna come in and out so much. You're
frozen. Am I still frozen?
No, not too much. Just a little bit laggy. I also only see half your face, so it's very hard to see.
Is it better
Okay,
now?
cool.
Okay.
Slightly. سلام. خوب هستین؟
مرسی. من شما رو چند دفعه دیدم. یادتونه؟
تهران یا
Nah. Once at your meetup in Regent's Park, sorry, my voice is a bit weird. Once at your meetup,
Yes.
after your thing, I asked you a couple of questions.
I remember that because then you came to the Regent's Park thing and you're like, we were on live. And I was like, I remember that.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
Your internet.
Pardon. I promise I don't have to burn everyone. Pardon?
Oh no. I was just saying that you're breaking up a little bit. Oh, she's gone. It's sad. You're not any Wi-Fi, man. It's a predicament. Okay, we're gonna answer a question, and then we're gonna go back to the live stuff. This is a fun question. Talk about your look today. Okay, I'm gonna go back to being a blogger from like throwback. Today I am wearing a scarf gifted from Mercy, who is at Blueton. She is from Nigeria, and therefore all of her clothes are incredibly bedazzled, like bedazzle everywhere. And she got these scarves as a gift, and she was like, there are no jewels on these scarves. What am I supposed to do with them? And so she gave them to me since I don't wear bedazzles everywhere. And so she's like, this is your style, because it's not covered in sparkles. So, yeah, this gift, have no source for it. Earrings, mentioned, stolen, looted from Watan, Palestine. And this jacket, I've had it for a very long time, actually. It is, it's from an ethical brand in Korea called SMK, and I got it from Shop New Classics, which is a wonderful like online retailer that sells a lot of other ethical store or brands on it. Wow, I've gotten so bad at this. Hashtag outfit of the day. Cool. We are going to get back in this live. Okay. Sadia means lucky is who we're adding to this live. Oh, and then hello.
Hello?
Hi.
Is it working?
It is working. I can't see your face. I think your finger's on.
Oh, okay.
Hi.
Hello. Oh, it's funny. You mentioned Korea. I'm actually calling from Korea.
No way. We're in Korea.
Gwangju.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, okay. Well, it's a place in Korea you don't know. But it's actually interesting because you said you were wearing like an ethical brand called SMK, and I was like, oh, I've literally never heard of that. So it was just really interesting.
I think they do a lot of like dance clothes now, like for ballerinas.
Really? Okay, I've never heard of that. Anyway, it's really late for me right now. I was just catching your live, and I just wanted to say it was very interesting, and I just wanted to come on here and say hi, and then go back to sleep because it's like really late.
Oh no. Well, I'm taking the time to say hi. At what time is it right now?
It's like let me see. It's 4 a.m.
What? Oh my God, go to sleep. Okay, we're hanging up.
Okay. Bye.
Have sweet dreams.
Bye.
Meet you. I'll be free.
Okay.
Bye. That's so sweet. Okay, cool. It is really late. It's 1. What time did I start this thing? So I think I'm gonna call it. Okay, I'll do one more question and then we'll like call it for a thing. There are a lot of really, really intense, good questions and some interesting questions. Let's see. Well, some of them aren't questions. Okay, I'm just gonna like close my eyes and pick one because this is hard. Do you expect anything to change? Oh, of course, I picked the easiest question of all to answer that will take me 3 seconds. Do you expect anything to change between Iran and U.S. relationship due to change in regime in the U.S.? Good question. Yes and no. I do think that, let me be frank. I feel like my politics are very clear. I think that Biden has said that he wants to return to the Iran deal. Great. I want to be honest in that I think that the Iran deal was also deeply problematic, and still was like a form of. Someone says, "Are you Persian or Arab?" What type of question is that? I'm very clearly Persian. Arab. I'm kidding. I love Arabs. But no, I'm very Iranian. Hence the dual wars that have ensued. But who was I saying? Oh yeah. So I do think that there is going to be a kind of shift in terms of relationship. And what is important to note also, though, is that the sanctions on Iran right now, that is very much devastating the entire country, and particularly hits working class people, and like women the hardest. A lot of like basic everyday goods are just like really expensive and inaccessible. Like medicine, common like sicknesses you can't really find medicine for. You have to literally find them on the black market. And so the situation in Iran is just like really, 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 really devastating, especially because of US sanctions. And a lot of those sanctions that are especially devastating started with Obama, for which Biden was the VP of. And so I think we also have to recognize that like Biden already has a history of like so much violence against Iran, as well as so many other countries around the world. And so I think even if there was a return to the Iran deal, which would be a step in terms of the US then needing to lift sanctions, I think a lot of Iranians are also somewhat optimistic, because especially in Iran, you kind of just have to be, because there's nothing else that really is can affect your life like on such an intense level like that. But then on the other side, like I think that there is a lot of, for good reason, lack of trust, especially when the United States and Iran already made a deal, and then Iran upheld its side of the agreement, and then America pulled out of the deal. And obviously, like it doesn't matter whether or not you are like whatever your relationship is with the Iranian government or regime, or the American one for that matter. Like the facts on the table is that the United States and Iran made an agreement. Iran upheld their side of the agreement, and the United States didn't, and pulled out and then worsened sanctions. So I think that's something that's like really, really important to keep in mind. And has since been like furthering and exacerbating sanctions, which are just like a form of warfare. So America has been on an aggressive form of war against Iran for nearly 40 years now. And so I think that it's very important to recognize that this conflict and this aggression hasn't just started with Trump, and it hasn't even started with Obama, but a lot of this violence has happened since the revolution in 79. And so there's and it's ongoing, right? So like America had a coup and like backed a regime change in Iran. There's been so many attempts of just like, not attempts, but like actual increasing of sanctions that have devastated the economy. And so I do think that there's a lot to take into consideration when thinking about what the relationship will change. Because if we place like this current political moment in context of a larger history of US aggression toward Iran, I think it makes it very clear that things are not going to hugely shift suddenly, just because Biden is in office. And in fact, Biden has added a lot of sanctions on Iran under the Obama administration. So that's one thing to keep in mind. So on a real level, though, I do think that we should think about, though, it's not just like, I think what we have to keep in mind is, yes, the historical context between Iran and the United States relationship, but also the context of America's relationship and Iran's relationship to a lot of the countries that are surrounding Iran, and all of the proxy wars that unfortunately Iran and the United States are in places like Syria, where like Syrians are being killed by Iran just trying to have a proxy war with different countries. In Iraq, for example, a fight between Iran and the United States is killing Iraqis, and it's so I think there's a lot also, like the conflict between Iran and the United States is not just one of sanctions. It is really complicated, and I think there's a lot of parts that are moving in this, and there's a lot of parties that are involved in this, and I think it looks like a lot of different things. So that's just one thing to keep in mind. Also, I think it's important to note that Israel plays a really, really major role in shaping US Iranian politics and pushes for a lot of the really aggressive, violent ways that America is expressing violence toward Iran. And so both Biden and Kamala Harris have already both, like, within the few days that they've been president and vice president elect, have already time and time again, like, overemphasized the fact that they love Israel and are going to give them so much money. And so we know that relationship is going to be hella tight. And so as a result of that, Iran is always going to have some sort of hostility because of that. So I think that there's no way that, like, anything will be resolved between any country so long as Israel continues its apartheid and power struggle in the Middle East. But also I think that there is something to keep in mind in that Iranian politics and American politics are usually in pattern and, like, riff off of each other. And so when we can see that in the history of how Iranians have voted and who they voted for, minus when the election is rigged, throughout the history of the United States, I mean, throughout the history of Iran, a Freudian slip, speaking about rigged elections. And so I think, so for example, like, whenever like a Democrat is elected in the United States, Iranians will also be electing somebody who is, like, more, like, open to making, like, peace with the West or whatever. And then whenever someone like Bush is voted into office, then we get Ahmadinejad on the Iranian side. And so we also see that, like, the people of Iran are really stuck between a rock and a hard place, in between both US, like, imperialism and US violence, but then also, like, repressive domestic politics as well, knowing that, like, the ways in which Iranians are going to respond is also that, like, America literally poses an existential threat to Iranian people. And so far right-wing, like, politics in the United States actually encourages and emboldens the far right in Iran. And I think people don't actually realize that. And I think that there's a lot of Iranians that are dumb and think that Trump somehow is going to help Iranians on the ground, and that is complete and utter bullshit, because if anything, Trump is only making the far right in Iran stronger and more emboldened, and allows them to then, like, feel like they can, because they want to now, like, also have a strong man fighting the United States. And so it's a mess, because also it's very cyclical. So, like, both the Iranian and the American regime say things that, like, build each other up, and it's like this, like, very violent circle where Iranian people at the end of the day are really at the bottom. So for example, we see the protests that got very deadly last November, where Iran also shut down the internet. So for example, a lot of those protests started for economic reasons, and a lot of the economic policies are deeply affected by US sanctions, of course. But so when a lot of those protests started, so the US government tried to point at that and be like, oh, we support the Iranian people. So when Trump comes out and says we support these protesters, then the Iranian government, then for them, that's a green light for them to say, oh, so if America is supporting these protesters, then there's definitely an American spy in these protesters. So now that gives us the excuse to shoot them down. And so we see a violent cycle of, like, US, like, far right support for protesters on the ground, actually furthering endangering protesters on the ground, because Iranian far right will use that language in order to justify their violence toward Iranian protesters. So it's a cycle, and both the far right in Iran and far right in the United States are saying the exact same thing, but on opposite sides. And so it just keeps feeding each other and turns into a very violent, horrible situation, where Iranians, again, at the end of the day, are between, like, a repressive domestic regime that is stealing resources and totally screwing up the country, versus, and also on top of that, the United States that is also incredibly screwing up the country because of sanctions and US imperialism and existential threats to their life. So yeah, I hope that answers the question. I did not read any of the comments, because usually anytime I talk about Iran, because it's hard, because I'm either on Twitter or on social media, and you have, like, 3 words that you can say before you reach your word limit. People love to jump to conclusions, also because of the fact that I am Shia and very Muslim and Iranian, people quickly assume my politics and therefore just love to like pin things on me, which is why I was not surprised at all by some of the comments that were in the comment section here earlier. So yeah, it's obviously very complicated, but I think the more that like you learn about sanctions and sit and learn about the history, and I think move away from trying to find a pure evil and a pure good in the world, because there doesn't exist, minus Trump maybe, we can see that the world is really complicated. And I think rather than trying to simplify everything for the sake of saying like, this is good or this is bad, therefore we should be against this, everything that they do and for everything that they do, we should be able to hold complexity in everything. See that like the Iranian government does a lot of deeply problematic things. They also do some things that work. They've been destroying a lot of things, but they also are doing this or that. Same with the American government. And I think if we're not able to actually hold complexity and just try to like completely cancel everything, I think that's deeply problematic. At the end of the day, I do think that all governments in the world are corrupt, no matter what, because there's no government of the people that exists in the world today. But I do think that we really do have to allow ourselves to see complexity and engage with complexity rather than just trying to find pure evil and pure good in the world, because that does not exist. We're all human and we're all going to fuck up at some point also, as an individual level. Okay. A lot of people are saying, please turn off the comments. I don't know how to do that. Okay. Well, it's 1:28. I'm going to let one last person come up for a last hurrah before we call it. I didn't even finish pomegranate. Huh?
I don't know if this is working. I'm so sorry. Hold on. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. I just see the ceiling though. I don't know if that's what I'm supposed to be looking at.
Okay, it should update in like a second. Is it working now?
No.
Okay. Because it shows up on.
Now you're frozen. This Iranian internet. See? This is exactly the problem. Speaking of. Boop, 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 boop. Oh, someone says that they see you. Maybe it's just my internet then.
Is it working now?
I hear your voice, but I still
Okay. I think it's just like something, you're like a little slow too, so it might be the internet. But I just wanted to take the time and say thank you so much for that explanation. Like, despite like what the comments are saying, I definitely like relate to people assuming like what your politics are for being a Muslim woman, Shia, and like being Iranian. So I really appreciate that explanation, because I'm definitely going to use that and share that with my friends and, you know, be able to be like more articulated in political conversation. And I recently joined the book club, so I'm so excited about that. I just want to let you know that I look up to you and you're awesome, and we all appreciate what you're doing.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I really appreciate it. And I wish, sorry, someone keeps calling me.
Oh no.
So it's definitely a time for me to head out. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
You're welcome. Have a good day. See ya.
شما همینطور. Appreciate it. I never got to see her face. Well, I'm glad other people could bask in her light. Okay, I'm gonna call it. Sorry, there were a lot of. There's some funny questions. I'm not even going through. Okay, there's way too many questions. I'm sorry, and it's 1:30, and I have a call at 1:30. No, it's 1:31. In conclusion, eat your anar, eat your pomegranates, stay healthy out there, wear a mask, don't engage in toxic masculinity, and oh yeah, also join Because We've Read. I feel like we are very excited because we have a lot of really exciting work and work very hard to bring you a lot of like great work. So it makes me very happy to see people who enjoy free books and are able to like take from that. And yeah, it's exciting to see people engaging and building, because for us, we really want Because We've Read to be planting the foundations and the seeds for building a lot of a larger global movement around the world that's like borderless, and where we can learn from each other and like build a future. So so yeah, if you like reading, or if you don't and you just want to stay for the lives, please do. But thank you so much. See, now I'm out of my breath. I'm also giving a talk with a bunch of other really cool people based in the UK, and so my British accent will come out despite all of their protests, who've already messaged me ahead of hand telling me not to use my British accent. So please join us. The information is for that is in my stories. It's hosted by Cage UK, which is a really amazing organization in the UK. And I will try my best to do more lives, because that is what people are requesting, both in the questions and in the comments. And have a good day or night or morning existence. Khudafiz.